So, Honorable Minister, Excellencies, colleagues, distinguished guests, good afternoon. I'm really happy, really delighted to welcome you to your United Nations compound here this afternoon to commemorate World Food Day. As we mark the halfway point of the Sustainable Development Goals, we're reminded of the goal that we set in 2015, which was to achieve a zero hunger by 2030. 8 years later, 780 million people around the world are experiencing hunger, and almost 50 million children are dangerously malnourished. As the UN Secretary General highlighted recently, the global food crisis is rooted in conflicts, climate extremes, inequality, and economic instability. It's also clear that these challenges are closely interwoven and that global currents have tremendous local impacts. The situation of hunger here in Sri Lanka is a case in point. At the height of the economic crisis last year, close to a third of the population was facing some degree of food insecurity. Despite clear improvements this year, several districts still grapple with food insecurity. Those already vulnerable to crises, including estate sector workers and daily wage earners, continue to be among the most affected. Water. This year's theme is the cornerstone for nutritious and healthy food production, but food production also imposes an immense strain on our water resources. Severe droughts and unpredictable rains are severely affecting crop production, causing a rapid increase in food insecurity among rural households. It's particularly concerning for Sri Lanka's dry zones, which accounts for 2/3 of the country and over 70% of paddy production. As we grapple with the escalating impact of climate change, this cycle is one that we must navigate consciously and sustainably. We must find ways to produce more food with less water while distributing water more equitably. The UN in Sri Lanka is committed to supporting the agricultural sector to become more productive, innovative, adaptive, and efficient in its use of waters. This drive cuts across 3 outcomes of our cooperation framework agreed last year with the authorities. We recognize that small-scale farmers are a critical part of a sustainable solution. As Vimlendra highlighted, FAO is supporting over 6,000 paddy farmers to adopt sustainable approaches, reducing chemical inputs and improving yields. IFAD is helping enhance water and land management and helping smallholders adopt efficient irrigation methods like drip irrigation. And WFP is strengthening the dissemination and accessibility of weather-related information to help Sri Lanka build resilient and adaptive food systems. Cooperation around food systems between these 3 agencies and others working on climate adaptation is a great example of how the UN comes together through complementary mandates and works closely to deliver. Going forward, we must design evidence-based policies in a participatory and consensual manner to better plan and manage water in the agricultural sector. We must support these policies with increased investments, new legislation, improved technologies, and capacity development. This means financing infrastructure that supports efficient water management, such as tank cascade systems that store rainwater for later use. It means assisting small-scale farmers and ensuring that they have the resources and the expertise they need. It also means closing the green skill gap among youth, making sure that they are prepared to live in a sustainable and resource-efficient society. Overall, this will require new public funding, new resources, which must be generated through state and fiscal reforms. Gathering at the SDG Summit in New York last month, world leaders agreed to urgently step up their efforts to deliver on the SDGs. Among the 6 high-impact initiatives outlined at the summit, sustainable food system was highlighted as a driver of transformative change across all the SDGs. Prior to the summit, the key role of water for sustainable food system was spotlighted at the UN Water Conference that Wim Lendra mentioned, which produced a Water Action Agenda, a collection of voluntary commitments to accelerate progress in the second halves of both the Water Action Decade and the 2030 Agenda. Thank you for being here today, but especially for your commitment towards a future where no one goes hungry. Thank you very much.